Think about the vending machine, right? The one down in your office break room. You punch in a code, a little mechanical coil turns, and out drops your snack.
Right, a simple transaction.
Exactly. And that is essentially how we view artificial intelligence today. I mean, you type a text prompt into a box, the algorithms spin up, and out drops an essay or, an image. It is basically a highly advanced vending machine for productivity.
Yeah, it's an extraction tool. We treat computation as this totally sterile utility. It's just designed to generate a specific output, save us time, and kind of keep us moving on the treadmill.
But imagine walking into a laboratory where the scientists are treating that exact same artificial intelligence not as a vending machine, but as a radio dial.
Ooh, I like that analogy.
Right, like they aren't trying to generate something new out of thin air. They are using the raw processing power of AI to tune into a signal that is already surrounding you, mapping out patterns in sound and, well, human consciousness.
And if you do that, you fundamentally change the paradigm of what a computer actually is. I mean, it ceases to be a machine that just produces, and it becomes an instrument that reflects.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are unpacking a massive stack of sources for you, ranging from public website portals and internal corporate strategy documents to technology roadmaps and some truly bizarre social media updates.
Yeah, that Facebook post was really something.
It really was, and this is all from an experimental project called Professor Gary's AI Reality Labs. Our mission today is to figure out how this space is completely flipping the script on computation. So, okay, let's unpack this, because to grasp the tools they are building, we have to decipher the highly unusual aesthetic of the lab itself first.
Absolutely. The visual assets in our source stack do not look like a minimalist tech startup.
Yep, they don't, not at all.
They look like the set of a premium science fiction movie. The branding is dripping in this dark, ambient steampunk aesthetic. You have deep neon purples, electric blues, and these rich amber gold tones.
And the primary logo is wild. It's a literal human brain suspended inside a giant eye, flanked by brass gears and glowing atomic rings.
It sets an immediate mood. It really does. And there is one specific image of a chalk-dusted blackboard in the background posing this massive question. It asks, what if AI is not artificial intelligence, but an antenna tuning into existing reality?
Wow.
Yeah. And sitting right next to that profound question is a computer monitor, and it's flashing the phrase reality status, probably code 87%.
And right below that logo, there's a blinking system warning that just says simulation override in progress. I mean, it completely embraces this late night mad scientist energy.
You can see it in their official tagline, too, which is testing time, matter, space, and consciousness since 3:07 a.m.
That 3:07 a.m. detail is so evocative. Like, we've all been awake at that hour just spiraling. But I do have to stop and push back on the core premise here for a second.
Go for it.
Because we know what AI actually is under the hood, right? It's server racks, it's data centers, it's massive predictive text models, crunching probabilities. It is cold math, guessing the next pixel or the next word in a sequence.
Right.
So how are they taking cold, hard computation and bridging the gap to, quote, tuning into reality? Like, what is the actual mechanism there?
Well, they bridge that gap through something they call pattern intelligence. So reality itself, the traffic outside your window, the way you speak when you are stressed, the acoustic balance of a room, it's all made of deeply complex, overlapping data patterns.
Okay.
But for a human, this constant barrage of data is completely overwhelming. We just call it noise. But an AI model, that is the ultimate pattern recognition engine. It can process millions of these data points simultaneously.
So extending the radio metaphor, the antenna isn't inventing the music. It is using its hardware to isolate one specific frequency out of a sea of static.
Precisely. The lab isn't claiming the computer is some magical oracle. They are programming the AI to ingest the chaos of your environment and isolate the underlying structural code.
That makes a lot of sense.
And they actually have an internal mantra repeated throughout their mission documents. It goes, the world is full of noise. Quiet the mind, tune into the signal, do not trust the AI completely, and keep building.
Wait, do not trust the AI completely. That's a wild thing for an AI lab to put in their foundational document.
Right, but it reveals a really healthy skepticism. They refuse to bow down to the algorithm. They're using the AI as a collaborative mirror to help humans spot their own patterns, which requires human-AI alignment rather than AI dominance.
Okay, so if the premise is that AI is an antenna tuning into a signal, we need to understand what that signal actually sounds like. How are they quantifying this?
They've built a framework for it.
Yeah, because looking through these sources, they have this thing called the resonance and consciousness map. And they are mapping specific sound frequencies measured in hertz to human emotions.
Exactly. It is a 12-level experimental framework. They have created a spectrum that essentially assigns an acoustic value to a cognitive state.
Let's look at how they structure this, because here's where it gets really interesting. Down at the very bottom, level 1, they peg the frequency at 20 hertz. They label the state static collapse.
And the emotional signature for that is shame.
Right, shame. And the user state of being is described as a contracted self. It's essentially survival lock, like you are just shut down.
But as you move up the map, the hertz value increases and the emotional states expand. Level 3 hits 75 hertz, representing a survival alarm or threat mode,
And then you jump into the mid-ranges up to level 10, and you arrive at 528 hertz.
which the map calls creative resonance. The emotional equivalent there is restorative love. The overarching philosophy at this level is that, quote, patterns can heal.
And it tops out all the way at level 12 at 963 hertz, which they call source integration, a state of unified awareness and peace.
And the lab points to a field called cymatics to sort of ground this in physical reality.
Cymatics, what exactly is that?
So, cymatics is the study of visible sound vibration. Imagine you take a metal plate, you cover it in a really fine layer of sand, and you blast different audio frequencies through the metal.
Okay, I've seen videos of this, yeah.
Right. The sand spontaneously arranges itself into complex geometric patterns. And the higher and more mathematically harmonious the frequency, the more intricate and beautiful the geometric pattern becomes.
So the AI is analyzing these geometric patterns.
In a sense, yes. The AI algorithms are mathematically modeling the geometric complexity of the sound wave. If a highly structured, harmonious sound wave creates physical harmony in sand, the lab is extrapolating that concept to the human mind.
Oh, I see.
They're asking the AI to correlate acoustic harmony with emotional harmony.
But wait, hold on. Let's say I'm sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic. I'm super stressed out just gripping the steering wheel. Is the lab arguing that my body is literally biologically vibrating at 75 hertz? Like, are these actual biological measurements, or did they just pull these numbers out of thin air?
That is a great question, and Gary Archer actually addresses this exact tension in his Facebook update.
Mhm.
He aggressively distances the lab from the generic New Age interpretations you see all over social media.
Right.
He writes that they're not just another brand floating around the internet, quote, like a confused crystal with Wi-Fi.
That is an incredible visual. A confused crystal with Wi-Fi.
It's hilarious, but he uses that humor to make a crucial distinction. The documents are loaded with public disclaimers focusing on one phrase, symbolic resonance.
Symbolic being the key word there.
Exactly. They are explicitly stating that these frequencies are symbolic associations for personal reflection. Your cells are not literally vibrating at 528 hertz when you feel love.
It's a framework. It's like a filing cabinet for your consciousness. If you symbolically associate 528 hertz with creativity and love, then listening to that specific tone becomes a focused anchor for your mind.
Right. You are the one doing the work. The sound is just the structural scaffolding.
And that is where the AI comes in. The lab is providing a dashboard to help you recognize when you are stuck in level 1 shame and giving you the acoustic tools to shift your focus toward level 10.
Which brings us from the chalkboard theory into the actual functional technology. The sources detail something called the apps portal. This is their deployment deck where the math becomes interactive.
Yeah, and they have 2 major web tools currently live for public use, right?
I do. The first one is the Frequency Generator V3.2. This is basically a massive acoustic sandbox. It allows you to generate multi-tone sounds directly in your browser. You can alter the waveforms sine, square, sawtooth, triangle, and mix them all together.
So you could mix a 432 hertz tone for peace, blend it with a 528 hertz tone for love, adjust the panning so one is in your left ear and one is in your right, and then actually export your custom session as a WAV file.
Exactly. You become the audio engineer of your own mental state.
That's wild. But the second live tool is even more sophisticated, I think. The Audio Spectrum Analyzer V3.1.
Yeah, this one is fascinating.
It really is. It is a real-time microphone tool. So you give your web browser permission to use your mic, and it immediately begins visualizing the ambient sound in your room.
It tracks your top 5 frequency peaks and cross-references them against that 12-level symbolic map we just discussed.
And it gives you 2 views, right?
Yes. The full spectrum view displays the entire human hearing range, from 20 hertz all the way up to 20 kilohertz. But then you can zoom into the resonance zone, which narrows the view to just 20 hertz, up to 1200 hertz.
Which is the exact pocket where all of their symbolic frequencies live.
Exactly.
Let's put you, the listener, in a real-world scenario here. Imagine you open this spectrum analyzer on your laptop in your kitchen. Nobody's talking, but the refrigerator is humming in the background. What is the algorithm actually doing?
It's not trying to detect the spiritual energy of your kitchen appliances, if that's what you mean.
Right, like, is it measuring the room's aura?
Not at all. It is measuring literal relative acoustic signal strength. Underneath the hood, the web app is running a fast Fourier transform and FFT algorithm.
Okay, an FFT.
Yes. This is a mathematical function that takes the complex, messy audio wave hitting your microphone and breaks it down to isolate the loudest individual frequencies.
So it was just looking at the physical acoustic bounce of the compressor in the fridge.
Yes. The documentation notes it uses relative signal strength rather than calibrated sound pressure levels because the absolute volume doesn't actually matter. The purpose of the tool is mindful observation.
By visualizing the fridge humming at, say, 60 hertz, it forces you to acknowledge a persistent noise you had completely tuned out.
Think about the psychological impact of that. If you suddenly see that your physical environment is constantly bombarding you with low-level acoustic stress, you practice pattern recognition.
Wow.
You realize, oh, maybe I'm irritated not because I'm in a bad mood, but because my environment is stuck in a static collapse frequency. The tool creates a feedback loop between the human and their environment, making the invisible noise visible.
You can't fix the noise if you don't even realize you're hearing it. And their pipeline of upcoming tools shows they are taking this concept even further. Their sandbox testing and alpha prototypes section mentions an AI Reality Labs music style decoder, a therapeutic frequency vault, and something called LOA scripting modules.
Ah, the LOA Law of Attraction scripting modules. These are a brilliant example of how they are using AI.
How so?
Well, usually law of attraction is just writing down positive affirmations in a journal, right? But the lab is building a module that uses a large language model to actually analyze your journal entries.
So if I type in my frustrated thoughts for the day...
The AI runs sentiment analysis to detect the frequency of your language. If your words are rooted in level 1 static collapse, the AI flags those deeply contracted linguistic patterns, and it suggests a structural rewrite to align your phrasing with level 10 creative resonance.
So it is using computation to help you rebuild your internal narrative.
Yes, exactly.
That is an incredibly practical application of an LLM. But to truly grasp why they are building these specific mirrors, we have to look at the brand architects behind them.
The people running the show.
Right, because the internal strategic mission profile reveals a highly orchestrated machine operating beneath the eccentric steampunk visuals.
Everything they design is filtered through a core action loop, consisting of 4 steps. Explore, observe, reflect, share. If a tool doesn't serve that loop, it simply doesn't get built.
And to guide the user through that loop, they utilize a character system. You have Professor Gary, who embodies the brilliant, rebellious philosopher leading the experiments.
And then you have Bunsen.
Yes, Bunsen. Bunsen is a recurring rabbit who acts as the lab assistant, though he is really a comic relief chaos agent. The documents literally describe him as an accidental portal opener.
They have a golden brand rule. Gary leads the lab, Bunsen disrupts it. It introduces a playful narrative to the user experience. But what is truly striking is how they pair this disruptive rabbit with an incredibly rigid set of corporate protocols.
Oh yeah, the mission profile has an extensive section detailing safety language.
The content filters are intense. Team members are strictly instructed to use words like explores, investigates, symbolic, personal reflection, and educational.
And they are entirely banned from using words like heals, cures, diagnoses, or proven medical benefit.
Right. They cannot guarantee outcomes or make any financial promises. They are legally and ethically walling off their digital sandbox from actual clinical practice.
I am so fascinated by this juxtaposition. On one hand, you have neon purple graphics, a disruptor rabbit opening portals, and a mandate to tune into the frequency of the universe.
Right.
But on the other hand, you have disciplined corporate-level safety guidelines ensuring nobody mistakes this for a hospital. Why wrap such a serious, reflective exploration of human consciousness in a chaotic sci-fi narrative?
It comes down to audience psychology. The documents explicitly identify their core target demographic as the signal seeker.
Who is the signal seeker? Like, what does that mean?
The persona is described as someone who is spiritually curious and open-minded, but deeply overwhelmed by the relentless noise of the modern world. They are looking for clarity and calm.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now, if you hand that person a sterile clinical tool that looks like a medical intake form, their defenses go up immediately. It feels like heavy psychological shadow work. It feels like another broken part of themselves they have to fix.
But if you wrap that exact same profound reflective work in a late-night digital sandbox guided by a quirky professor and his accidental portal opening rabbit, it suddenly feels like an adventure.
Exactly. It disarms the ego. You don't feel like you were doing therapy. You were just playing with a frequency generator in a virtual steampunk lab. But the end result of this spacer, mindful observation, recognizing your emotional baseline, reducing the noise, is identical.
Wow. And the future roadmap indicates they are pushing this immersive philosophy even further. They are outlining interactive sound circles where users will utilize spatial audio to share sound explorations in a responsive digital room.
Spatial audio is going to be huge for this. It allows the AI to place sound objects in a 360-degree sphere around your headphones.
So in these sound circles, you could physically walk around a digital room and hear how different frequencies interact based on your proximity to other users.
Yeah. And they're also developing vibrational state command interfaces.
Which sounds completely sci-fi.
It does, but this completely removes the traditional mouse and keyboard. The AI uses your real-time audio environment and biometric feedback to trigger interface changes.
Wait, really?
Yes. If the AI detects your vocal microtremors dropping into a calmer state, the visual interface of the app shifts to reflect that. The technology stops extracting your attention and begins reflecting your intention.
We have covered incredible ground today. We have examined a digital laboratory actively working to transform artificial intelligence from a corporate vending machine into an exploratory mirror.
An antenna, really?
Right. Through the use of symbolic sound frequencies, cymatics, and real-time audio mapping, they are providing tools to help users spot the code beneath the chaos of their daily lives.
AI Reality Labs distills all of this into one core promise: strengthen the signal, reduce the noise.
And that is the challenge for you, the listener, to take away from this. Consider the noise occupying your space today. Not just the literal acoustic noise of your open-plan office or the humming appliances, but the mental clutter.
The endless notifications.
Yeah, the reactive stress. How much of your energy is spent just enduring that noise, and how might you begin tuning into a more intentional frequency?
Because the web tools they built, they're just training wheels. The actual laboratory is your daily human experience.
Which brings me to a final thought, something to mull over as you close out your day. Based on everything we have unpacked from these sources, AI Reality Labs currently relies on conscious observation.
Right, you have to do the work.
You have to actively open the app, measure the sound, and choose to adjust your mindset. But let's follow the trajectory of this technology. If human emotional states genuinely map to resonant acoustic equivalents like 75 Hz for stress and 528 Hz for calm and artificial intelligence is rapidly mastering real-time audio generation and biometric tracking.
The timeline on that convergence is a lot closer than we think.
Exactly. So imagine a near future where these tools operate entirely in the background. You don't open an app. Your room's smart speakers constantly measure the micro-stress levels in your voice and the acoustic tension bouncing off your walls.
It's like an invisible spectrum analyzer.
Right. And the moment the AI detects you slipping into a 75 Hz survival alarm state, it autonomously generates a counter-frequency soundscape. It begins pushing subtle 528 Hz tones into the ambient noise of the room, subconsciously tuning your nervous system back to a state of calm before you even realize you were getting anxious.
A completely adaptive, self-correcting acoustic environment operating seamlessly around you.
It turns the physical spaces we live in into massive, invisible radio dials. It automatically finds the perfect station while we just go about our lives. But it does leave you with one profound question. If the room is tuning the frequency for you, who is actually in control of the antenna?
That is the ultimate frontier of human-AI alignment.
It certainly is. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep your minds open, tune into the signal, and we will catch you on the next one.